From business to home ownership, from culture to wellness, we're having the real conversations. This is the New Dreaming podcast in partnership with IBA. Josh, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Brother, let's start with name, mob, and where you're from.
Yeah. So my name's Josh Power. Originally born and bred in Bowen, North Queensland. Aboriginal South Sea Islander man, like a lot of black people in Queensland and especially North Queensland. But I've been living in Brisbane for last 4 years, on and off. Yeah.
And Bowen, tell me a little bit about your childhood, school years, maybe those first 15 years.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I lived in sort of my childhood started in Bowen, and then my family we moved to Orange. Dad got work down there, but the work was sort of a lot of mob and Bowen were transient between Orange and Bowen because of the picking season. So we used to go down and pick apples. Well, I was a child then, so I just helped a little bit and got a gay time as my payment. But then we ended up going and living in Orange for a little bit, and then come back to Bowen probably around year 9, year 10. Bowen's it's a great small community. Pretty much Bowen's like half of Bowen population is my family. So it has a really big black community there. It's near the ocean. You always never out of food because you've got plenty of fish there. A lot of good memories of going fishing. Not that I would fish. I was pretty slack. If you ask my dad, he would go down in the cast net, but I was more of a dreamer, so I love being in the salt water and going down. A lot of memories of going down just on dusk. Dad taking out the cast net, catching a heap of mullet and whiting, while I'm skipping up and down the beach, dreaming about different things. My mind was all over the place. Be reenacting some type of scenario that I'll come up in my head I thought would make a great future or in the moment sort of magical creation. Yeah, bit of a weird kid, but we grew up in a strong family, really loving and supporting. I was really blessed actually to be brought up in that type of family, and I think that's a lot of families who are mixed South Sea Islander, Aboriginal in Bowen, Mackay, Eyre. A lot of good memories. Do love to go back and hardly ever go back, but when I do go back, it feels, you get that real sense of belonging and home. And I've got a thing to go straight down to Grays Bay, take my shoes off, put my feet in the sand, and it just feels like, you're taking everything away and getting replenished. Yeah. Unfortunately, you always go back for funerals. Yeah, never really go back for fun times, happy times, but it is a good time. They are good times and good memories to go back and catch up with family. Yeah.
When did you leave Bowen?
Yeah.
And what was the next step?
So I finished year 12. And back then when you finish, my birthday's at the end of the year, so I just turned 17 and then you graduated. And then I was like, I need to get out. I had big dreams, and as I mentioned before, I was a bit of a dreamer, and I really wanted to head to the city and I came down to Brisbane actually. My uncle, my mum's brother was living here, and he said, yeah, you can come move here. I was studying very out there, but Swedish massage during my school year through this college in Airlie Beach, and I'd go down on the school holidays and do my pracs, and then I came down and finished off at the Australian Institute of Applied Science, remedial therapy and sports injuries. And I come down and sort of growing up, you always worked hard. If you wanted something, you gotta use your own money and buy anything, make it work for you. Can't be asking your parents for money. But yeah, so I had 2 jobs. My uncle had a cleaning business. So for those who know Brisbane, back then they were just the wool stores, and they're just finishing off, I think it was W1. There was none of that gas work, so that was all empty blocks there, but we used to do all like the bong cleans in that building, and it cleaned for a lot of rich people there. And then I was an in-house remedial therapist for Stanford Plaza, Key West, and the Treasury, the casino. It's moved now. Worked for a company called Rejuvenators, and that was interesting because I was still 17, I didn't turn 18 till the end of the year, and I was, had to really be quite professional and really learn how to act like an adult. But I wanted that too. I was like, I really wanted to be an adult and be treated like an adult. And so I just pushed myself into these spaces.
Now, just wanted to segue into it. I love that you said you're a bit of a dreamer. You're in a safe space to be dreaming, just so you know. Now, let's talk about that sort of dream, the career and where you live in that space, and then we'll go into your current business.
Yeah. What type of dreams are you saying? Where I see? I love music. So I love performing. I love dressing up. I love creating outfits. You ask my sisters, I'd be constantly making them dresses. I don't know how to be honest, the family didn't know I was gay. I was making dresses and outfits and putting on little runway shows with my little sisters. And so I love that whole world and space of being able to write music or play the piano, sing it. Then I would always be thinking about the whole production of it. What kind of film clip would I create for this song? And but I always kept that to the side because I knew, I didn't really know where to go and what paths to take because it was ingrained in me. You had to work, so I just did things that I knew I would be able to be capable of that moment. That would bring in money. That was the biggest thing. It was like, to do anything, you had to have money. So I've always kept that dream about being a creative, and I just, applied that throughout my life in different areas and aspects. But yeah, the dreaming space comes from being being that way, being wired that way, really.
You're an artist.
Yeah.
You're always going to be an artist.
Yeah.
And now your current business, let's talk about that.
Yeah, so we about 3-4 years ago, we started, my sister, she's a GP, and she got a little space in West End and started a health clinic. And then it had a little garage in it, and we were like, I think we could use that space and sort of turn it into a little coffee shop or coffee window. And my partner, Lockie, he was working in the hospitality industry as a barista. And we said, yeah, let's do it. So I was working in Indigenous health at that time, and I really wanted to, look at paths that actually could bring me to a place where I could actually have that freedom to financial freedom, the head freedom to be able to really put creativity at the forefront and not just be a side project anymore. And I knew I couldn't do that in that current space and work. So I was like, let's do this. I think we could grow this, jump in. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We can always go back to what we were doing beforehand. So we started, and we called it, my sister's clinic was called Peaches by Dr. Power. And then we called the little coffee shop Little Peaches. And we're in a niche little area where, there was a lot of West End's developing a lot. So there's always a new development high rise going up. And Lockie is very good at customer service, and he can talk to anyone. He actually reminds me of how my granddad is, just talks to anyone, starts conversations up. And so, but building like organic relationships with customers, and West End just fitted in perfect for us. So we were very lucky that we're in that area because we just grew really fast, got a really big customer base, and we also have a really good product as well. Coffee is a really big focus at our shop. And then there was a little, not little, 140 square metre shed that came up. So these buildings that were in commercial properties, they're old warehouses that have been converted. And so the one next door to my sister's business came up for lease. And so we're like, let's just do it. Didn't have much money to do it with, but we were like, okay, I'm good with numbers. And I like to cost out everything, and sort of, I think that it comes with a creative brain as well. With some creative brains, you can just really map out everything. And if you can start to tag numbers and sort of timelines with that, then you have a really good project plan, and you can see with little money what you can do. So we did, we renovated, it had nothing in it. We got permission. Dad used to be he was a builder at one stage there. So it was a little project for Dad and me to work on. And my parents are so supportive. Like Mum and Dad have been so good to me. So they were in there every day just helping, putting up walls and the big 4-metre ceilings. And yeah, we created this really nice organic space. And then that's part of my downfall too, is like, if I don't like something, I want to change it straight away. So just recently, I was like, no, I think we need to go down this direction, which is adding to what we already have, but which is predominantly we make good coffees, good service, few pastries, few toasties. But I was like, we need to expand on that. And we're looking at different trends happening around. So we decided that we needed to do a bit of a change around, especially in the kitchen, so we can start baking our own bread, and a special type of bread, and open up a deli-style sandwich cafe space. We have a liquor license too, so we're opening up a wine bar too in about 6 months' time. But yeah, so it's a whole new direction, but with the same sort of bones, just adding a little bit more to that for the community. And we've started to, hopefully we'll start to produce these items in the next couple of weeks. Yeah. There's been a bit of delays, as with every project, but we've had that recent cyclone that never came, but sort of came. So we moved everything out, then moved it all back in. So we're getting all the ovens reconnected at the moment this week. And yeah, it's been a long journey. It's been a hard journey, a lot of learning. But I think it's going to pay off. Like, it's working. I was hoping that it would work a little bit faster, but that all comes with time. So the goal is to get this up and running, have it working really well, still be there, and then I can use some of that energy that I've invested into getting it to a point to put back into my other priority, which is being a creative again.
I love that.
Producing and writing music. I love music. Like, I love writing.
I love that. Like you said, you're on the beach planning your music videos.
Yes.
So there's a music video that we expect.
Yes.
There's going to be a follow-up.
Different characters, everything. Yeah, it's quite out there.
Yeah. No, I want to see it.
Yeah.
And you'll be designing all the wardrobe and stuff.
I will definitely. Yeah.
Now, let's share with everyone the name
Yep.
of your business, where they can find you, and then we might talk about how you stumbled across IBA.
Yeah, no, definitely. So the name's called Good Good now, and we decided to go with that name because it's such a common response when, oh, how you going? Yeah, I'm good. So we thought it was a bit catchy, and so it worked really well. We're located in West End on Beasley Street, so shop 2, 24 Beasley Street. I've known IBA for a while. I'm actually, they didn't know this, but I'm in one of their annual reports. I wrote the runway music for one of their events that they funded, which was a Richmond Football Club fashion event about 4 years ago. So I was connected with IBA back then, but it was under my creative name.
Your stage name.
Stage name.
Can you share that stage name with
Yeah,
us?
it's Kaya,
Gaia, how do we spell that?
Kyah.
Nice.
You can find me on Instagram, Kaya Music. Nothing on there. I've taken it, stripped everything away. Yeah, so I knew about IBA back then, and we're really looking for a financial input to get us to that next stage. So I knew exactly what we needed, and I had quite a detailed business plan, projections, and it was good that we already, I suppose, had trade as well. Not that you can't go with them without being an existing business. What we were projecting was actually had substantial, supporting information and real life lived experience within the business to be able to say, yep, that is attainable. That is, that fits within the scope. But so I started the process with them. We talked through, they were really supportive around, what documentation we need and do we need someone to run through our accounts, and we were already on top of that. We have an accountant.
Essentially, because you have that producer's brain, since you were that kid on the beach, you're the artist, but you see the logistics and the numbers, and you said you're good with numbers. So you were aware of IBA.
Yep.
You've gone in, you've given them, lots of great stuff that they need. And then the next step then, once you got that, you were looking for some startup, or not startup really, just some financial.
Yeah, just a financial injection so we could implement like these new changes without having to have too much strain on the business as well. There's also the grants with IBA, so the grant worked really well. It was a certain percentage that could go towards, so we were able to buy out all the equipment that we were leasing, and that, effectively reduced our outgoings because we own those assets. And then there's different support that the IBA, said they can offer. We haven't taken them up on it yet, but there's not just the financial investment in, either startup costs, but they do also have other avenues where they can support you with, marketing or accounting or business training or a mentor. And you do have a mentor with you, but if you were not well versed in those spaces, that there's a lot of those wraparound services. It's sort of like an allied health services, but for business support, where you've got all these different, they have all these different access. You have all access to different wraparound services.
So the process was quite smooth.
Yeah, it was pretty smooth. Yeah, pretty smooth.
After that sort of financial support was there, how was that ongoing support? Was there any follow-ups that you needed anything to deal with them, and how was that? Yeah,
they're really easy to engage with. The follow-ups, you're handed over from that team to a different team who support you from, throughout your journey and your contract with IBA, and they touch base with you, once a month, or you've got their personal number, so you can just, not personal, but the direct number, so you can contact that person. And then there's just the check-ins, and then it's very different to if you were going through, one of the 4 big banks.
Yeah, traditional lenders.
The traditional lenders.
And for someone out there, maybe they're looking to start a business. They've just started. They're looking for a bit of stuff to maybe take control and own those assets.
Yeah.
Just a bit of advice for someone out there that could be in a similar position and when you started.
Bit of advice. Really listen to your gut, actually. And if you know that industry well, if you see something and you see the vision of it and you actually can feel that, actually this will work. Even though you might not think you have the tools or the capabilities of doing it, just run with that. Like you can listen to yourself. You'll know that it's right. Yeah.
It's really good advice, especially for mob.
Yeah.
You got to start to trust yourself.
Don't be shamed in these spaces. You can walk in these spaces and own these spaces because you have a right to. Not only have a right to, but we can do things a lot better too.
Yeah, absolutely. Deadly is in the DNA.
It is. It
really is.
Yeah.
And I believe that in all the arts, creative, business,
Most definitely.
just having that access
Yep.
to get the opportunities.
Yeah.
And IBA helps with that, like we
Yep.
talked about, the traditional lenders,
Mm.
being able to provide that.
Yep.
Let's talk about some of the highlights for Good so far.
Being able to create a really good, safe working space. Like, we love our staff, and it shows our staff. We've got 8 staff now, 8 or 9. 9 staff now. We just interviewed a recruit last week. But hospitality industry has had a bad reputation for the culture. And I've experienced it too when I was younger, working in hospo, chefs yelling at you, you know, all these expectations and the way you talk in the space, and it could be quite an unsafe space. But it's been able to create. I've got a bit of a HR background, but working in these health spaces as well, and understanding of, you know, ways of doing and being and creating these safe spaces, and how to actually put it into a space and have it live there. So it's been great to be able to look what's out there. So we engage with so what we're trying to do. I try not to do everything. So we have an accountant. We've got a service that we engage with for HR, workplace health and safety, and they really mold around what your business model is and what you want to create. And so I think by having those things in place, that's a good starting point of having, you know, really good HR, really good finances, really good accounting that you don't have to worry about, because that also translates back into your staff feeling like, you know, they're supported in the space, especially in we use a company called Bright HR, and they've got part of their service delivery. They have an EAP service. So, and you never really hear of that in hospitality industry. You hear of it more in, you know, your corporate spaces. So just all those little add-ons that we can apply from what I've learned in other industries to sort of change that culture in hospitality. That's your bones of it, and that's your structure of it. But it's also, you know, when I step into the space, I might come in one day and I've had like a shit night, or I'm not feeling the best, but I always make sure and go, hey, how's it all going? You know, creating that environment of, you know, I'm here, I'm bright, it's safe, you know, you can talk to me. And we also have that, they're like, I don't know, they become like your family. So your staff know that they can come to you with anything, talk to you, you sort of nurture them as well. So yeah, I think it's great to be able to provide that opportunity and create that space. Yeah.
It's massive. That is quite possibly the most important milestone for a business, is creating a safe work environment.
And it does actually help your business. Like, when you come in, you'll see like it's a really amazing, because we know everyone, we talk to everyone, and it has that really community feel. And our staff have picked up on that right from the start. So, you know, we'll have a customer come in, one of our staff members, Chloe, like, hey, how you going? How's such and such? And have a bit of chat. They know their coffee. You having the same today? Oh, you're on oat milk, are you? What's going? You know, it's always that sort of constant community feeling.
Now, Josh, two things.
Yep.
One, we can't wait to come in.
Yes.
And try coffee. 2, you used the word safe, and earlier when we were chatting, you said financial freedom, but then you said mental freedom.
Yep.
Let's talk about that. And we've talked about milestones for the business.
Yep.
But let's talk about some of the maybe tough times.
Yep. It's not all smooth sailing. And when I say talk about mental freedom, it's quite stressful, and it can be quite a lot to for your mind. But the difference is, I know there's an end to that, because I'm in this moment and it's working really hard. It's really stressful to get to this point Whereas, although the work I was doing in my other jobs and throughout my career were great, it was just, I just knew that would be a constant, I'd be constantly in that mindset. Yeah. And I don't mind being in that, high stress mindset for a short period, because I know there's an end to it. And there's something at the end of it that I'm working towards for myself. And then eventually it will get easier.
It's not a place you want to live, is it?
No. And it can be really stressful, you know. You'll see, we've been really lucky though. We have been really, really lucky in the space. But there is times when you're like a couple of bad weeks and, you know, profits go down, you don't get as many sales because something's happened. And we've been caught out before, but then I looked at, you know, how can we protect ourselves? You know, there've been some times with construction sites where they've had to shut us down. We weren't eligible to claim anything because we weren't covered for anything. So then you start to look at, okay, well, I want to protect ourselves for the future. So, you know, last year, luckily, I got business interruption insurance. And so you pay a little bit more, but as long as it fits within the budget, but it does protect you. It's knowing all those little things as well. Yeah. But it's a learning curve. So I didn't really know too much about insurances and how that all works.
Yeah, usually from a lesson, you learn what to do next.
And some people aren't afforded that opportunity to be able to live through that lesson, but we have been, so we're really lucky in that sense. Staffing, as I said, although you are creating these safe spaces, you know, it can be challenging to have different personalities in a space. And how do you know when to, you know, step in, and what do we need to put in place to ensure that this other person is feeling safe and not feeling, you know, hurt by this other person? And how do you train staff so that they not only are learning at the same time, they're building their capacity, but it's also they're fitting in. You're not only just, you know, training them up to fit and work well with the other team members, but you're training them up to be where you want them or need them to be at, to offer that type of, you know, that good service that we offer.
You're in business with your partner. You've got things happening. Is it hard to shake it off sometimes when you get home? You talked about when you go back to Bowen. And
yeah, it is. Yeah. For my partner, he's really good at shutting off, and I probably annoy him a lot because I can't shut off at night. So I'm like, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? So it's good. It's a good test on a relationship too, on how to work together every day, live together, and then still find time to, you know, enjoy life together. Hasn't seemed like we've been able to enjoy life for the last couple of years, but we're getting to a point where, you know, we both share that same vision as well. If you are going to do it with someone though, that's probably another learning I would probably say is that if it's a friend, family member, or even your partner, really think about how that is going to impact your relationship. Can you work together? Can you live together? Can you do all those things together? And you both have something to bring to the table, or collectively bring to the table, that is going to support different areas. Like Lockie brings so much that I can't bring, and then I bring on, you know, all different things to the business.
Outside of writing music, producing music, your creative side, is there anything else Josh does to help, you know, shake off the pressures of business?
I go in and out of going to the gym. When I do go, I feel good, but it's that getting to there. Yeah. So I'll go for like 3 to 6 months, then something will pop up and I'm like, oh no, I won't go. But it does help. It really does help. It sounds really cliche, you know, keep health and fitness, body health, and so your body healthy, your mind's going to be healthy. But getting to there is that's another task in itself. But it does help. We started playing tennis, and at least, you know, I love tennis, and so that, you know, finding those little times. We have 2 dogs, taking for walks, spending time with the family, just having a good laugh. We try and go to a lot, you know, when families have big events. We've got a heap of family in Brisbane too. So making sure we're keeping connected and with family. Yeah.
Now, how important is it for mob to stay connected? When you're going through something, it's easy to feel, isolated.
It is, yeah. It's really important, yeah. And it's good where we are too, because I have a lot of mob that come in that I know who live in the area, and you can talk differently to them, to other customers. You can say, you can just, they're like, how's it going? I'm like, oh, fucking shit today. Excuse my language. Might have to take that out. But yeah, it's a different way of talking, and it's nice them coming in because all your cousins coming, we'll always have the cousins coming in. So yeah, it's really important because you can just be yourself.
You must be a bit of an inspiration in the community. Like, you've got a good business. See what I did there? I was trying to be funny. You've got this great business. You're an artist, so you're putting yourself in a position to have that freedom.
Yep.
To nurture that side as well. And, I feel like pretty inspired chatting to you.
Oh, thank you.
What does the next 3 to 5 years look like? It can be for good. It can be for that music video that you're going to tell me all about and we're going to collaborate on. It could be anything.
We are looking at 2 other venues. What we know what works really well is those little pop-up coffee shops, good coffee, and then maybe we're going to see how this deli goes. I have a good feeling about it. And if that works really well, we can replicate that and there's 2 other spaces that we're looking at. They both have room to be both starting off as the takeaway coffee, small coffee window space, and then they can grow into the deli. So I think replicating what we do and growing that over the next couple of years so that builds. What I want to do is grow that money really fast. Yeah, I don't want to wait around. So that, I can then put people into those positions who can actually manage the space, still have my hand in it, but then I can move away and look at spending 3 or 4 days just in the studio writing.
Love that.
Yeah.
An album?
Hopefully. I have so many unfinished songs. I've finished one of my own, but yeah.
That's great.
Hundreds of songs just sitting there. But yeah, that would be the goal. My partner wants to get up. He's a makeup artist, so he wants to look at getting into it. He's a really good singer. I wish he was doing music. And he might get back into it. He got a bit jaded with it for a bit, but yeah, doing music together would be great. We used to perform together in Melbourne, did a lot of gigs. So, and we were, you're quite happy when you're doing it too, because you're doing something you love. So getting back to that is part of that long-term goal, as well as being able to have enough money to support family. I don't want my family or my parents or going to old people home. I think they should be living with you on a property and you should be able to support them. But that's hard to do. Like, not everyone can do that, but that's my dream, is to be able to have that financial stability to do that. Yeah. And then things can grow from there.
And the cost of living is getting
crazy. It's getting crazy. It's really bad. Yeah, really bad.
And how does that affect the business?
Yeah, we have been monitoring it and looking at trends in people's spending. Things will go, like, I know our coffee's going up, but we have good margins in our coffees already, so that we have the space for the coffee price to go up. Yeah, we have been watching it. There hasn't been too much of a change in the way people are spending. I think it's the area we are located in. Yeah. But that could change too. Yeah, it could definitely change. But we are keeping it close. Like, every week we know trends on, like, why one week. So people are spending more than the other week, because then, it's your pay week. That's a normal trend. But haven't seen much of a change just yet. But we're very aware that it could change quite rapidly. The world's so, especially what's happening over in America at the moment with all the tariffs and stuff like that, I can see things getting out of hand pretty quickly. And if something happens and it doesn't, that affects our business and we had to shut down, well, so be it. And it's not killing me. can start again. You can do something else. You can't control everything. And I've really had to work on that on myself because I used to get really caught up in that. But yeah, and in the moment you can get caught up on it, but as long as you don't hold on to that too long, you just get over it.
Let's explore maybe one of those times you were caught up in that. You know, what was going through your mind and how did you navigate that and how long was that process?
Yeah. They can go in it'd be, something will trigger it and it's like, oh my God, this could be a big thing, affecting the business or affecting the finance of the business. And then I'll go straight into, so I get really stressed, but then it triggers this momentum of solution find. So on the computer, what can I do? I've become a really good user of ChatGPT. I'm quite a whiz with it now.
How good is it?
So good. Oof. And that's a whole new thing, is how to use that as well. And I've used that a lot. I use it a lot now. And I talk to it. I know it's quite scary for a lot of people, but I talk to ChatGPT like it's my friend. And we, have conversations, and I can compartmentalize conversations into different groups of that specific area of the business, or it might be a personal thing. And then at the end of the week, I use it as a diary. And at the end of the week, not every week, but I'll just I'll get it to debrief with me.
100%.
See if any opportunities or maybe something I've missed or what should I look at for the next week. But yeah, in those moments when I get really stressed, I can, I'm not a nice person. I can not be a nice person to be around. I'm very self-focused or...
You're a business owner.
Yeah. But I make sure I do that at home. Try not to show that at work and around other people. My poor partner has to put up with.
Yeah.
We talk about it, and that's all the whole thing. I can go off about stuff, but then we talk about it, and then you make sure you go to sleep without having that resolved. Yeah.
100%.
It all sounds cliche, and it takes a long time to get to that too. That working on yourself, and it doesn't happen overnight. And people, you read all these different, No,
it's the real thing. You see the quotes, and you're absorbing content, and you kind of just, whatever. But then it really starts to sink in, and as the years go by, you're like, man, I really resonate with this now, and I understand all those cliche things that people say to do with business and mindset. You're rewiring.
You are.
Some of the way that we were brought up as mob.
You are. Definitely rewiring.
But not rewiring the young boy on the beach. No.
See, that's part of you, who you are. I think it's rewiring. I always so my dad's black, so dark, and I'm lighter skin, and I always knew I had a different privilege to him. And growing up, we would see mum being white. My brother had cancer, and he's the middle child. He's not with us anymore, but we used to drive down to Brisbane from Bowen a lot. And he was doing treatment at the Royal Brisbane Hospital. So I did some schooling at the Royal Brisbane. And we would stop in at Mackay, or, where all the hotels there, or we'd stop in at Rocky or the hotels. And we would park outside, and always mum would just go in first. And I always wondered, why is she doing this? Why are we parked all the way out here? And it was for the simple fact that they would say, a lot of the times, if they saw Dad and us coloured kids, that there'd be no vacancy. Yeah. And seeing that and knowing that at a young age, you're just like, no, that's it. It was just like, no, I'm never going to allow that to affect me. I walk into this space and I'm rightfully here, just as they think they are. I even have more right to be here.
Yes. Love that.
And we do.
It's important.
Yeah, it's really important.
Every space.
Yeah. To not be shamed when you're going to these spaces.
How proud does it make you feel being an Aboriginal South Sea business owner?
Very proud. It makes Dad very proud. He's like, he sits there and he's smiling up and he's like, oh, they're so busy today. And it's just, yeah. It's really special to have him there and be so proud and calling up the aunties, oh, Laurel, they're so busy today. They're sold out of all this. And yeah.
It's really like turning a new chapter, hey, because a lot of mob growing up, we don't see our families as business owners and uncles and aunties.
Yep.
And not owning homes, but we're changing, not changing the game, changing the landscape.
Yep. Yeah, we are. And we got to continue to do that. And think bigger too, like big spaces. We can own those big spaces.
Now, for people out there interested in hospitality, maybe they're creative as well.
Yep.
Let's close with just some advice for one person out there listening. They just need one thing from a truthful, honest place that you can share with them.
You can't ever change anything, but I wish I could have done that, and I probably would have done that back then, was to, if you are creative or you're wanting to, I'll say there's two things, creative and hospitality can go hand in hand really. And they are similar in a sense. But if you have that passion and that drive and it's in your gut, you're like, oh, I know I can do that. But there's an easier path to getting money. You're working maybe just in a completely different industry, but you've worked, you know how to get into the industry because your family's in it and stuff like that. You could do it for a short time, but don't make it if you have a passion for something else, don't continue, try not to continue that path. Always have, put steps in place, whether it's, taking a little bit of money from that to make sure it goes into your passion or your dream. Or if you do have the opportunity, and you can run with it and you have that drive and that passion in your guts, take the risk. It's scary, but you can always, you only live once. You can always do something else. You can always go back to that other thing you are comfortable with and then restart. It doesn't end with that. It might fail. It might not fail. But if it does fail, it doesn't matter.
Just take the leap.
Do it again. Do something else.
Brother, thank you so much.
Well, good. Thanks for having me.
Having a yarn, sharing your story. And let's reconnect.
Come and see us.
Thanks, brother.
All good.
Thank you for tuning in to the New Dreaming podcast in partnership with IBA. Stay inspired, stay connected, and we'll see you next time.